Hey you guys, my name is Heather, and this is about the fifth time I'm recording this because every time before this, very long. So I'm going to make this one short and sweet. My knowledge to action plan is yoga as a sensory motor based intervention for children with anxiety. So, as some of you might know, anxiety within pediatrics is near and dear to my heart, and I am doing a lot of research based on this topic. Anxiety within pediatrics is the number two reason why children go to their pediatrician, and the mean age of diagnosis of anxiety within pediatrics is 6, and there's a 32% chance that this will continue to follow them throughout their life. So if we can help these children learn ways to cope with the effects that anxiety might have on their daily lives, within their social engagement, within their school performance, that's so critical. So my knowledge to action map. So the problem identified is that clinicians have limited knowledge regarding sensory motor based interventions to utilize with children who have anxiety. I have been spoken to and talked to about, what do I do with this child? They have really bad anxiety. What can we do? And there are many, cognitive behavioral things that we can do, but I wanted to do something that was very specific to OT and looking through an OT lens. And so my brain went to sensory motor based interventions. And, I've looked into yoga, play, and art or expression through writing. And those are all really wonderful tools. But in this knowledge to action, I am specifically talking about yoga. So my intervention would be to this problem would be utilizing yoga as an evidence-based sensory motor based intervention to help children manage the effects of anxiety. When I did my evidence-based research and when I was looking into it, I found 600 articles that had discussed utilizing yoga within children or with children. And 20 of those articles were found to be highly supportive and pertinent to what my search was about. And, it found that it was significantly supported, whether small significance or large significance, it varied, but it was always supported. So then I figured, now clinicians are familiar with the practice of yoga and what poses would work for each child that they may encounter. So my goal would be to create and implement a interactive presentation to utilize and how to utilize yoga as an effective sensory motor based intervention for children to utilize to cope with the effects of anxiety. So I would want the presentation to be with other clinicians, and I would want it to be not a formal discussion, but more of communication and talking and really educating them on the use of yoga and what poses to use and what type of interventions would be, or what type of poses would be best for the child, and how to best make sure that support their posture and their alignment and the flow, and just really support them in their knowledge base of the utilization of yoga. So I would allow therapists to practice yoga with one another. I would also want to provide feedback during and after treatment sessions if the clinicians would like me to really make sure that I am supporting them within their own growth process as well within utilization of yoga, and to provide ongoing opportunities for increased understanding of the benefits of yoga on mental health. So therefore, I would then need to do self-directed learning to really make sure that I was looking into yoga and utilization of yoga within the mental health field and to help children cope with their anxiety, and ensuring that I am educating other clinicians so that they have the best knowledge base and to make sure that they really know how to best help support their children that they're working with. So then I would go and to make sure that this intervention is being successful, I would use the SCAS and the SCOPE as pre-test, post-test measures to gather data. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a moment. And then I'm going to review those outcome measures and compare the results, identifying if yoga as a sensory motor based intervention is successful or not. I then can identify doing other interventions. Should I add in drawing and writing? Should I add in play? What does that look like? What is that going to look like? And really identify if the problem is solved or if I need to continue within my search on how to really make sure that this issue is addressed. So kind of what I was speaking to is really making sure that these clinicians feel supported. They feel like they know what to do. They feel like they are able to really help the children that they're working with and identifying what their child's needs are and how to best help support them. So what if they have limited flexibility, limited trunk control, postural stability, endurance? What would be best for them? So I'd really want to just make sure that they knew what was best and how to help their children, and kind of creating an individualized plan for each child that they feel like this would be successful in incorporating. So the outcome measures that I would use is the Spence's Children Anxiety Scale. And it's an instrument that measured symptoms related to childhood anxiety and depression, looking more closely into generalized anxiety disorder, separation anxiety, social phobia, panic agoraphobia, obsessive compulsive disorder, and fears of physical injury. So the study looked at, when they looked at this, it was all clinically significant and was found to be valid. So it's a 44-question self-report completed by the child, and it is good for children from ages 8 to 15. And it is free and there is no time. So the child can take their time, and as well as the child can get support from the clinician or a family member when filling it out to help understand and conceptualize what the questions are actually asking, which is really wonderful. And also the second would be the Short Child Occupational Profile, the SCOPE. This instrument measures the child's ability to participate in activities of daily living, their cognition, emotion, general health, motor, and sensory skills. It is completed by the clinician or the parent, and it is 25 questions on ordered categories that, 4 ordered categories that correlates with a number. So going from facilitates, allows, inhibits, and restricts from a 4 to a 1. And this is for children 0 to 17 years of age. And it takes approximately 20 minutes and it's $40. So it'd be relatively effective within their price, and it wouldn't be a burden to complete this assessment as well. And these are my references. Something I wanted to show you really fast as well was some of the yoga poses that I find to be beneficial, that I kind of did the more research in, and part of my action plan that I would incorporate. So I found these 6 yoga poses that are very client-centered and beneficial for the effects, or to cope with the effects of anxiety. Legs up the wall, child pose, downward dog, mountain pose, snake pose, and corpse pose. I have listed to the right of them all of the benefits. So I would complete and create all of these handouts that clinicians can utilize, and as well as that clinicians can share with the families that they are working with to help make sure that there is a carryover in the utilization of yoga within their home, and to make sure that the child can use this effective coping mechanism and effective tool within the coping mechanisms across all of environments. Thanks.